Before we get into the video, could everyone please subscribe to my FXmovies.20 channel? Thank you so much. The air was thick with tension, wrapping around me like a second skin. My pulse pounded in my ears, a steady reminder of the choice I was about to make. Dressed in a sleek black gown that traced every curve, I waited, anticipation coiling tight in my stomach. The elevator door slid open with a soft chime, and there he was, Elias Carter, the man who had occupied my thoughts, my dreams, my desires. Seeing him in person was almost surreal. He radiated confidence and power, a force that commanded attention without uttering a word. His dark eyes met mine, sharp and assessing, his lips curving into a knowing smirk. "You're stunning," he murmured, his voice a low caress that sent a shiver through me. I swallowed hard, my throat suddenly dry, but I didn't look away. I couldn't. His presence held me captive. Without hesitation, he reached for my hand, his grip firm yet unhurried, leading me into the lavish hotel suite. The city skyline stretched beyond the floor-to-ceiling windows, but I barely noticed. My entire world had narrowed down to him. Elias removed his jacket, the movement fluid and controlled. His black shirt fit snugly, emphasizing the broad expanse of his chest and the firm muscles beneath the fabric. His scent enveloped me, clean, masculine, with something deeper, darker, more primal. "You've been watching me," he mused, his voice smooth yet edged with certainty. I could tell heat crept up my cheeks, but I didn't deny it. I admitted, my voice barely above a whisper. His smirk deepened, his gaze darkening with something dangerous. "And now you want to know what it feels like?" I nodded, my breath catching. "Say it." His tone was gentle but firm, a command wrapped in silk. For a moment, hesitation danced on my tongue, but then desire outweighed doubt. "I want to know what it feels like." The playful curve of his lips faded, replaced by something deeper, something raw. "Then let's find out." Before I could react, his hands were on me, his grip possessive yet reverent. He pulled me against him, his body solid and unyielding. The heat between us was electric, setting my nerves ablaze. His lips met mine, demanding, consuming. Every touch was deliberate, every kiss ignited a fire I hadn't realized I had been suppressing. He moved with certainty, his hands mapping my body like he already knew the places that would unravel me. I had imagined this moment in fleeting daydreams, but nothing could have prepared me for the intensity of reality. The night blurred into a haze of tangled sheets and whispered confessions. Elias wasn't just passionate, he was relentless, attuned to every tremor in my body, every sharp intake of breath. He didn't hesitate, he didn't fumble. He knew exactly what to do, exactly how to make me come undone. By the time it was over, I lay breathless beside him, my skin flushed, my body humming with satisfaction I had never known before. The weight of what I had done loomed over me, but in that moment, I couldn't bring myself to regret it. As the night stretched into early morning, guilt crept in like an unwelcome guest. I loved my husband, Ryan, but I had never felt this way before, this alive, this awakened. I turned to Elias, his face relaxed, contentment evident in the lazy smirk on his lips. "You're incredible," he murmured, brushing a strand of hair from my face. I forced a small smile. The words should have made me happy, but all they did was remind me of what I had just risked. The ride home was eerily quiet. I stared at my reflection in the cab window, searching for the woman I had been before tonight, but she was gone. The way I moved, the way I carried myself, it all felt different, as if something inside me had been unlocked and now there was no going back. When I stepped into our apartment, Ryan was setting the table for dinner. He looked up, smiling. "You're back," he said, walking over to kiss me. I let him. His lips were soft, familiar, nothing like Elias's. "Yeah," I replied, my voice steady. "The trip went well?" He studied me for a moment, his brow furrowing slightly. "You look different." My stomach clenched. "Different?" He chuckled, shaking his head. "Relaxed, happier even." I almost laughed, if only he knew. Days passed, and life resumed its routine. Breakfast together, a goodbye kiss before work, dinner in the evenings. But inside, I was unraveling. Every time Ryan touched me, I had to remind myself to respond, to pretend I felt the same way I always had. But my body knew the difference now. I used to fake pleasure to make him feel good, to keep things simple, but after Elias, I couldn't even pretend anymore because now I knew what it truly felt like, and that was dangerous. The guilt never truly faded, but I learned to live with it. I told myself it was just a fantasy, one I had fulfilled, and now it was over. I convinced myself I still loved Ryan, and in a way I did. But love and desire were two different things, and now I knew the difference. The hardest part wasn't the guilt, it was the temptation. For days, I fought the urge to reach out to Elias, Just one message, just to see if he remembered, if he thought about that night the way I did. But I stopped myself every time. This was a one-time thing. I had crossed a line I could never uncross, and Ryan would never know because I would take this secret to my grave. Days turned into weeks, and I convinced myself I could bury what happened with Elias, lock it away in some dark corner of my mind, and move on. I played the role of the devoted wife, the woman who had everything she could ever need, and for a while, I almost believed it. But the lie became harder to maintain. The memories crept in at the most unexpected moments. Ryan would wrap his arms around me at night, holding me close, and all I could think about was how different Elias's touch had been, how he claimed me, how he knew me in ways my husband never did. I tried to shake it off, to focus on the life I had built with Ryan. He was kind, loving, he adored me. But love and desire were not the same thing. One evening, we were at a dinner party with friends, sitting at a table lit by the soft glow of candlelight. Ryan was beside me, his hand resting on my thigh, a casual display of affection. I smiled, engaged in conversation, but my mind was far away. Then my phone vibrated in my lap, a message. I glanced down, my heart stopping cold when I saw the name Elias. I wonder if you still think about that night. My breath caught in my throat, my fingers trembled as I locked the screen and slipped my phone into my purse. My pulse pounded. Did he know what he was doing to me? Did he realize how close I was to unraveling? I could still feel the heat of his breath against my skin, the weight of his hands. The memory of him haunted me, whispering its presence no matter how hard I tried to silence it. I excused myself from the table, muttering something about needing fresh air, and stepped out onto the restaurant's balcony. The city light stretched before me, a glittering sea of distractions, but nothing could distract me from him. I shouldn't have replied. I should have deleted the message, erased all traces of him. But instead, my fingers moved on their own. I don't have time for this, Elias. Seconds later, his reply came. That's not an answer. I closed my eyes, exhaling slowly. No, it wasn't. It was one night, it's over. Another message came almost instantly. That's funny because I remember you begging for more. A shiver ran through me, my body betraying me even as my mind screamed to stop. He was toying with me, pushing me to see how much I could take before I snapped. I couldn't do this. I shoved my phone back into my purse and returned to my seat, forcing a smile as I reached for my wine glass. Ryan turned to me, his eyes soft with love. Everything okay? I nodded. Of course, but inside I was crumbling. I held out for as long as I could. I ignored the messages, the late-night temptations to open my phone and respond, but resisting Elias felt like trying to hold back the tide. Then one afternoon I saw him. I was walking out of a cafe, coffee in hand, when I froze in place. Across the street, leaning casually against a sleek black car, was Elias. He was watching me, dressed in a fitted dark coat. His presence was just as magnetic as I remembered. He didn't move, didn't call out to me, just stood there waiting, a silent challenge. I could have walked away, pretended I didn't see him, gone back to my carefully curated life, but I didn't. My feet moved before I could stop them, closing the distance between us. What the hell are you doing here? I hissed, my voice low but sharp. His smirk was infuriating. Nice to see you too, Scarlett. Hearing my name from him sent a rush of emotions through me. His lips did things to me I didn't want to acknowledge. You're insane, I muttered, glancing around to make sure no one was watching. You can't just show up like this. Why not? He tilted his head. I wanted to see you. I hated how my heart skipped at those words. Elias, this was supposed to be a one-time thing. He stepped closer, his voice dropping to that dangerous, intimate tone that had ruined me once before. Then why are you still here talking to me instead of walking away? I had no answer because the truth was I didn't want to walk away. He reached out, his fingers brushing my wrist, light, fleeting, but enough to send a jolt through me. I sucked in a breath. Meet me, he said, not a request, a command. I shook my head. I can't. You can, he leaned in, his lips dangerously close to my ear, and you will. His words settled into my skin like a brand, burning long after he stepped back. I turned and walked away, my hands clenched into fists. I needed to be stronger. I had to be stronger. But that night, as I lay beside Ryan, my body restless, my mind trapped in memories I couldn't escape, I knew I was already lost, and it was only a matter of time before I fell again. The pull of Elias was undeniable, no matter how much I tried to resist. He was always there, waiting, watching, tempting. But I couldn't keep living like this. One evening, as I sat across from Ryan at dinner, I realized I had already made my choice. He was telling me about his day, smiling the way he always did, completely unaware of the storm raging inside me. I loved him, but I had betrayed him, and I couldn't undo it. That night, I stood in front of the mirror, staring at my own reflection, searching for the woman I used to be, but she was gone. I picked up my phone, my heart hammering as I typed a message. I can't do this anymore. Don't contact me again. I hesitated only for a second before hitting send. Seconds later, the reply came, Elias, are you sure? I exhaled sharply, forcing myself to do what I should have done from the start. I blocked his number. Then I turned off my phone, climbed into bed beside my husband, and wrapped my arms around him as if holding onto him could somehow undo the past. It couldn't, but it was time to stop running. Some secrets I would take to my grave. And that concludes Scarlett's story, one of temptation, betrayal, and a choice she can never take back. But what do you think? Should she have stayed loyal to Ryan from the start, or do you believe her connection with Elias was worth the risk? Was blocking him the right decision, or do you think she'll fall back into temptation? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your take on this story, and if you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more.